that we ought to bring to all mankind. I was at an event put on by Consul General Oliver Mayr, raising funds for people who are in need here and in Jamaica. There was a young man that got shot that at this event we're able to raise $1,000 spontaneously within about 10 minutes.
Oh, that's good.
To help. So that was a real good cause. A lot of people gave, and it was really, really a good thing. We had Mr. A.J. Brown amongst so many other artists that's there. Really, 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 really a nice Christmas event that they had over at Living Word Fellowship Church in Fort Lauderdale. So we're still talking money, and it's the season where hopefully you don't spend all the money you don't have. Oftentimes folks do that, and then they get the after Christmas blues.
Hmm.
Mean they're broke.
And some started Christmas broke too.
That's a fact. So that's the reason why we talk money here, to make sure that we understand what the Bible says in Ecclesiastic 10 and 19, that food make it a feast, wine make it merry, but money answer it all things. And this afternoon we have with us online a good friend, Mr. Brian Cunningham. Mr. Cunningham hails from Columbus, Ohio, but he relocated here to South Florida in 2012. He was drafted by, his son was drafted by the Miami Dolphin in the 5th round in 2012. He lived in London, UK. So he was around a lot of people from the Caribbean. He still is around a lot of people from the Caribbean. Background in real estate development and construction and finances also. So we're going to introduce you to him. It so happened that this morning I had a meeting with him with someone in need of some capital. And that's something that he does. He helps connect money to businesses. So that's the focus, finance for businesses. And that's a big deal for us. He's a member of the Black Chamber of Commerce and chairman of the Tourist Economy Committee in Broward County here. Welcome aboard, Brian. Good to have you.
Thank you, Mr. Holness. It's great to be here. Can everybody help me? Am I getting feedback?
We can hear you loud and clear. Hopefully you don't have your radio on, but I can hear you loud and clear here from where I am. So Brian, you found your way to South Florida, but you originate from Ohio, the state of Ohio. My son is actually there at Ohio State University.
Is that right? I used to work at Ohio State.
Yeah, I didn't tell you that.
Got a master's there as well.
Yeah, you got your master's
wow.
there. Yeah, he's working on a business degree in agriculture. He likes nature, he says, and he wants to ensure people are able to be fed and protect the environment while doing so. So, I mean, that's an aspiring cause for anyone. So you moved here.
Absolutely.
So tell me a little bit about your experience growing up in Ohio, and a little background as to who Brian Cunningham is. You know, a little bit about where you were born, your family, and schooling and that kind of stuff.
Great, thank you so much. Columbus, Ohio, born at the Ohio State University Hospital. Grew up there, single mom, 2 kids, and it came to a point where, you get a little older, middle school, high school, and, you see your mom struggling, and the entrepreneurial bug hit me. I mean, we always shoveled snow and cut grass, make money, help folks with their leaves in the yard. So that was my entrepreneurial experience. And I remember my very first date. I took the young lady at 14. We went to the Ohio State Fair to see Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Wow.
And I was waiting on my mom to come home and give me my allowance. It was $10. And back then, $10, it still wasn't a lot. And I remember getting on this ride, and it was like 50 cents per, whatever, 75 cents a ride. And so I paid that, and the guy gave me all back in quarters.
Oh,
Of
wow.
course, and of course,
He wanted
when
you
the
to spend the
ride
rest
flipped
of
around,
it.
yeah, well, you know what? The ride flipped and turned so much that all the change fell out of my pocket. And so, you know, at that point, I told myself, never again am I going to have to wait, you know, ask for my mom for allowance, and I'm going to go out and make my own money. And so, you know, from cutting grass, you know, shoveling snow and doing all those things, you know, my brother and I were always having some type of things on the side, fixing bicycles and chariots. So that was my entrepreneurial spirit and, you know, enterprising spirit.
Mhm.
And then, you know, I always wanted to be a businessman. So, you know, my buddies, we would always carry briefcases to school and wear, you know, suit coats and ties. But then I got to college, and you know, I think it was that I was in the College of Business, and that calculus just advanced calculus kind of got me. So I changed my major because I used to get in trouble a lot. You know, like I was from Spanish Town or something. And I knew the law, so I said, let me just major in criminal justice.
Mhm.
Graduated and came back, you know, and worked in social services as a social worker, children's services, did all that. But I always had some type of business on the side, and actually got off into multi-level marketing, and that's what. Remember Amway back in the day?
I was a part of that too because I've always been entrepreneurial like you.
Yeah,
So
yeah, and it was the conference and the teachings and the self-development
yeah, it was
that
huge.
really it was huge. And my
Mhm.
upline diamond was black,
Mhm.
GW Ned the King.
Mhm.
And we took off, and it did really well. And then from there, I started a couple other businesses and a T-shirt business, and you know, I always had a job, but I always, you know, did that. And then once I
You
left
sure? You
Ohio
sure?
State, I started.
You sure you're not Jamaican? You know, they say if you don't have if you're Jamaican, you don't have 3 jobs. You're not a Jamaican, really.
Well, you know, well, you know, my last name is Cunningham, so there's a lot of Cunninghams
In Jamaica, yeah.
in Jamaica, and
Yeah.
my prior wife was British Jamaican, so she was from Mobay, but
Yeah.
lived in the UK for 5 years, and so my ex-mother-in-law is still over there in Mobay, so which is really great. So we're still good friends, and I always get back and then get some of that good home cooking.
Wow. All right.
Yeah,
So
but
then you
mhm.
finish. You actually had, did some work in public administration also. Did you get a degree in that too somewhere along the line?
Yeah, I got my
Wherever.
master's in public administration from the Ohio State University as well. My mother is a former politician, commissioner in Columbus, Ohio, in Franklin County, and I, you know, from our area, and so you know, I watched her, you know, be in politics and be a community advocate, and so I've always had a deep root in working in the community, which is really great. I've been a volunteer, created a mentoring program for young boys in Ohio through the county called Simba, and we recruited 100 black men to, you know, serve and be mentors. So that was my experience because I've always had a mentor. You know, I didn't grow up with my father, so I always latched on to someone that was positive in the community, asked him to be a mentor, and you know, just became coachable and teachable. So that's where that came from.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Um, it was, and I tell you who was a great influencer was Mr. Les Brown.
Yeah, I remember Les Brown was a great speaker. Les Brown from out
Yeah,
of the Bahamas.
yeah, Les Brown,
Hmm.
and from out right
Actually,
down here with the
he
over.
came out. Yeah, he came
Uh,
out. His parents were Bahamian, but he was born here in Liberty City or Overtown. Yeah.
exactly. So
Hmm.
actually, he was on the radio in Columbus, Ohio, back in the
Wow.
late '60s, early '70s. Yes.
Uh,
And so we used to go down. He would get us on the radio. I didn't really what we were saying, but it was really affirmations.
hmm, hmm.
And so actually, he bought me my very first suit for Easter.
Wow.
And so we keep in touch. So he's been a motivator with me,
Wow.
since I was a little kid. Yeah, and so
Wow. Beautiful.
that was that, and then we used to come down to South Florida to Miami, you know, on vacation. My mother would drive us all the way down, and I was always, you know, fascinated with the palm trees and the salt water. And I said, one day I'm going to live here.
Mm.
And that vision, you know, that speaking that, it ended up happening in 2011. You know, things took a turn. You know, you start writing a new chapter in your life, and had some friends that are already down here, some folks that are, business folks in the community down here. One guy, started his own box business down here in Fort Lauderdale, and we were good friends. And I came down and, got involved. I started working at Kaplan University over there in Plantation.
Right.
Remember that over there?
Yes.
Right off of Peters. And then I got into the Organo Gold. That was my multi-level marketing. Got familiar with the community and folks. And next thing, that ride with Kaplan took a turn. And I went to the job fair at the Urban League in Broward County.
Yep.
I wasn't going to go, but the young lady I was dating at the time, she said, I said, I'm going to start my business. I'm going to do this. I'm going to run my coffee business. And all that. She said, well, I can't be with no man with no job. So I got a little mad, but I said, whatever, I'm working. Let me go to this job fair. And it was very strategic. Yeah. I went there, took my resume, and I interviewed I think there were 34 companies there. And I interviewed every company. And the only resume I gave to was the Urban League. They had a position. It was a business development officer in their art and their workforce IT division. And I applied, and within 2 weeks, they called me and interviewed, and I came down in my suit, my cufflinks. I remember the HR director. She was like, Brian, I knew they were going to hire you, but, I know you're not, what's the real deal? You got your cufflinks. I said, this is how you're supposed to go. And suit and tie, cufflinks. And so she asked me, did I want to work? I said, I'm here. And she said, are you sure? She said, well, it doesn't pay much. I said, listen, I'm willing to do what I need to do to make it happen. And, and I'm very grateful for that opportunity.
Because that helped you with a lot of interface within the community, because you and I interfaced quite a bit on that when I did the weekly economic development meetings as a Broward County Commissioner. You were there. We were leaning on you to bring us information, because you actually became the money man from that. You found out how to lend money. Urban League had some money program, and not only just a small business development part of what they do, but they had money. And you were the person who was at the forefront of helping these businesses interface with getting the funds that was available there. And, I've been a supporter of the Urban League for many, many years. It's a great institution. You actually put it on the map when it comes to business development and business growth in Broward County. So you really did a great job while you were there helping.
Thank you.
And I think with the programs that they have where they help with business plans and all of that, you're all in with that.
Yes, and that's, I got promoted to that because I was on my way out. I was looking, to branch out after that, and they asked me, said, Brian, are you going to, this position is vacant, the director of the Entrepreneurship Center. I said, well, I'm really on my entrepreneurial thing. I said, well, how much does it pay? She said, well, she told me it was $25,000 more than what I was making. I said, you know what? I'm in. And little did I know that spirit, when you go and work for an organization, I went in as a business owner in my mind. So I took it seriously. That was my book of business, working with small businesses, watching them grow, and I remember the CEO, Dr. Jermaine Smith-Boss, she's like, Brian, what is your legacy going to be once you leave here? And I couldn't tell her at that point. But what I could tell her when it was time, I said, hey, listen, I helped to put over $5 million out in the street for Black businesses. I served on your committee through the county with your economic development committee. I also assisted with you remember we built those homes over there off of 27th and
exactly, in the unincorporated area. We had,
exactly.
10 nonprofits to build those homes.
Right, and so I put the money together to help with minority builders to help fund the building of that, and that took off. So I can ride around the 3331 area and point areas of their legacy that I've been fortunate enough to touch and help grow. Right. So it's not just about loaning them money. To
date, I think we have probably maybe close to 200 homes that were built, and they were in the community that needed uplift, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 2-car garage. I remember telling them I don't want any little boxes. I want something that was going to lift the neighborhood up, and we did. You go through Roosevelt Gardens, Boulevard Gardens, through Franklin Park, all that area is transformed as a result of what we did with getting those homes built, and there's still more, and it actually stimulate private folks to come in and build also. And a good part of what we did, not only did we find the money for these nonprofit groups so that they could build capacity to help with affordable housing, such as the Urban League and Minority Development Incorporated, Brian Johnson's group, but we also gave people down payment assistance. So many of the folks over there have equity in those homes that they now can transfer to their children in the future, and they don't have to worry about affordable rent because they own. The escalation here might be from insurance and taxes, but compared to what can happen in a rental market, it's a totally different scenario. Plus, they are owning, they're building equity in every payment that they make. A portion of that will go to grow the net value of the property, and prices values going up. They get a good tax write off from it also. So there's a whole bunch of way that home ownership benefits people. So I'm very proud to have been at the forefront of leading that. And thanks to you, to the Urban League, to Minority Builders Coalition, and to so many other groups that came in to bring about the realization of a dream for so many people who would otherwise not probably own a home. So you did that, and then you also help with making sure that they connect. But you became one of the founding member of the Broward Black Chamber of Commerce, as I am. Talk a little bit about your experience with the Broward Black Chamber of Commerce.
Absolutely. But before I do that, I just want to let you know, you helped me get my start in real estate development, because within the last 18 months, we created a nonprofit development team, and we won our first RFP over in Dania Beach.
Beautiful.
And affordable housing, we redeveloped it, and tomorrow we close on the second half of that property, pull down the funds from Jeff and those folks. So, I mean, that was my start. That's the next chapter that I'm writing. But yes, being a part of the Broward County Black Chamber of Commerce as a founding member, it's probably one of the best chambers that I've ever been a part of. It's very active, reaching out and advocating for the businesses, making sure that they get contracts with the school district, the county, the city, and the different other cities, 31 cities in Broward County, advocating for them and helping them with the procurement opportunities, helping their business grow, marketing, business plans. So a lot of the tools that I had at the Urban League, I transferred those over at the chamber. And, you know, we just finished up that big luncheon. It was probably the largest luncheon we had at the Signature Grand on December 7th. And it was real amazing. So those are the things we're doing. And as a part of that, I am on the tourism economy chair.
We've hosted Shahiwa on this program a couple of times before. The Black Chamber actually is doing a remarkable job in advocating for Black-owned businesses in Broward County. In the time that I've been in office, few organizations or entities have reached the level of advocacy for the economic uplift of Black people in Broward County as the Black Chamber of Commerce has. They're working to influence policy, to make sure the policies that are put in place by government is there. They're working to influence private companies to utilize, give contracting opportunities to Black-owned businesses. They're also advocating to make sure there's funding and money available for these businesses when they go out. So if you're a business person and you're not a member of the Broward Black Chamber of Commerce, I certainly recommend that you do. I'm a founding member. I'm paid to date on my membership. It is absolutely something that you should be a part of. And let me just say this to folks. You know, folks sometimes say, so what am I going to get? Well, you're going to get to be a part of an organization that is advocating for you. And you now become one of those people who advocate for you. Nobody's necessarily going to hand you anything because you join doesn't mean you're going to get some money from joining. Yeah, it's going to cost you a few dollars. But at the end of the day, if you have an organization like this that's pushing for uplift within our community, you will be uplifted, or somebody else may benefit from it. So the $300 a year that it costs, if you're a small business and just have a few employees, it's worth having that advocacy there for you and for the next generation. Your children, if they decide to come about, it's just like I'm going to bring in the NAACP here because I thought of them this morning. I'm a life member myself, and folks says, well, what they do? Well, listen, without them, we wouldn't be pretty much where we are. We stand on that legacy of what they have done. And if you're not a member of an organization like that and help to push it to ensure that it has capacity to do more, then you're not going to get much. They can't do much at all without you being a part of it. So be a part of the Broward Black Chamber of Commerce. Join and get on a committee. Not just join, but get on a committee, and that will help with networking for you. Also, will help open doors and make contacts while you're out there. Because what that has done now is actually help you also, because now you are the chairperson for the tourism economy in Broward County, right?
Absolutely. Because one of my side businesses, we do private yacht charters. I'm a part of the South Florida Black Yacht Owners Association. And so we go from Palm Beach all the way down to Fort Lauderdale down to Miami. We've got about 12 private yachts in the fleet, and we do private charters. Now, here's what's happening. When the leader of the state said that about Florida and the black books and everything, the NAACP came out and said, don't travel to Florida. Well, at a part of the chamber, we had to go back to the national president and say, listen, do you know how many black-owned businesses and restaurants depend on the tourism economy down here in Florida? So when you make that bold statement without consulting with the leadership here of this community, I've got one business that we funded. He's the only black-owned beach and cabana business in the state of Florida, right here in Hollywood Beach.
So what I'd said to that, Brian, is this. I'm not against putting that out, but what we ought to do is say to the business industry is you need to be a leader in the change, because some black businesses will make some money and we ought to make sure that they do. But at the end of the day, the larger corporate entities are going to benefit the most. Now, what I would say is this. Okay, if we put this in place, here are what the tangible results are that we're looking for. We're not just looking to boycott the boycott, but how are you going to include more blacks in the opportunities that exist through your travel industries, through your tourist development centers that exist out there? How are you, hotel company, gonna utilize and contract more black businesses? Not just tell me you're gonna give some black folks some jobs to make bed and clean the place. I want to know that there's some ownership opportunities that will stem from the growth in the economy for tourism. And as you know, you were there with me so many times when I pushed those issues to make sure that we were cognizant of ensuring that the opportunities that exist reach others. Now I know that some folks, including the person who lead the state, as you say, don't understand that is important and critical, but it is, because if you leave a segment of your society out, you're weaker for it. You got to be stronger. So we're going to take a break in a couple of moments, Brian. But when we come back, I want us to go back to the Tourism Economic Committee that you're on, and talk a little bit about further on that, and then we're going to get into what you're doing now to help business.
Absolutely.
Seems so tough. Make we talk, my people. Make we talk. When this town becomes an ugly place, don't let it be.
Make up on your mind. Work has to be done. It's not going to just happen so. We have to make sure that every comrade who voted for the People's National Party in 2011 and delivered the victory, if they're still alive, they have to go vote for Comrade Patrick Peter King when the election call. And even some who are not alive, you know, if them can deal with it, no problem. Because as them say, we name power. Power party.
Within the first 100 days of our government, we will start the legislative process to institute, and I want you to listen to me carefully, impeachment proceedings in Parliament. This will add another layer of protection of the Parliament to ensure that only members of unquestioned integrity sit in the Parliament.
You, Prime Minister, should pack your bags and go. Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman. Right, Mr. Small.
That is the difference between them and us.
Few will continue to plunder poor people's money because we will have to continue to live with the rampant corruption that has characterized this government, of which the Prime Minister has been a part from beginning till now.
A plaza make, and you want a shop on the plaza, it's in US dollar.
My God.
Rich. Everything are run by China. Road are run by China. Government are run by America. Can I preach? Can I preach? Native citizen, we can't hold nothing down here. Can I preach? Chinese are take over. I feel my belly. Somebody say, whoa. We need deliverance. We need the blood. We need Jesus. We need help. Can I preach?
I got arrested a few times. During the 60s, I went to jail 40 times. Since I've been in Congress, I've been arrested another 5 times. And I'm probably going to get arrested again for something. I'm not suggesting that any of you should go out and get arrested. But when you see something that is not right, not fair, not just, stand up and say something. Do something. I gave a little blood on that bridge in Selma 53 years ago. I almost died. Some of my friends and colleagues were murdered in Mississippi and other places. I'm not asking any of you to give any blood. I'm just asking you to go and vote like you never voted before. We have to vote. The vote is the most powerful nonviolent instrument or tool we have in a democratic society, and we must use it. Use it. Go out and vote. Let's go out and vote. Go and vote. Go and vote.
Talk, people, make we talk.
Yes, we're talking money this Thursday afternoon here on WZPP, WZOP Radio, broadcasting across the state of Florida. We are in Tampa at 1580 AM. We are in Orlando at 99.1 FM. We are all over the state of Florida. And of course, you can find us at WZPPradio.com, WZPPradio.com, the voice of the Caribbean and beyond. This is talking money here. And you might want to call your friends because Mr. Cunningham have some money. If you're in business, if you have a person in business, we're going to talk about how they can access some capital to help grow their business. But Brian, we left off on talking about being a part of the Tourism Economic Committee here, where you're the chairperson in Broward County. Tell us a little bit more about that opportunity in the tourism industry for folks. You know, it's the number one industry for Broward County and South Florida, and yet there are not many of us engage in it in a real way. And I think there are opportunities in the Black Chamber of Commerce, and you are actually pushing as hard as I did when I was at the county. We want to make sure that the tourism that comes doesn't stay just on the beach. There are other places beyond the beach that they should be going and enjoying the western part, the central part of the county, certainly the diversity of the culture, the cuisine, the restaurants, and all that happens in South Florida is not just happening on the beach. We want to make sure we move folks to the west, and that's a big push that I had while I was there. Probably ruffled a few feathers in saying that we weren't doing enough to move some opportunities beyond the beach for many of or restaurants, especially because we have quite a few that's not on the beach that people can experience the vibrant flavors of the world here in South Florida. When I was mayor, actually, that's one of the things that I said when I welcomed people to Broward County was you can get enjoy the cuisine from every part of the world. We're a very diverse community here in South Florida. In fact, the ethnic makeup is a third, pretty much a third Hispanic, a third Black, and a third white, just about that. And then there's about 6% of others that's out there, about 30%, 30%, 30%, and then the balance are made up of other ethnic group. We have quite a number of Asians here, people from the Middle East, from all over the world. There's 200 languages spoken here. So people can enjoy a lot more than just going to the sand and the sea. They can enjoy quite a bit more. So talk to me a little bit more about what you're doing with being the chairman of the Tourism Economy Committee.
Absolutely. So you're right. It's all about making sure that the visitors that come in through the Fort Lauderdale Airport or come by rail or come by car, what we've done is we've put together a directory of all of the businesses of color that we want you to patronize when you come into town. Through the Legacy magazine. If you go through that magazine, it's online. Putting together all those restaurants, site attractions. There's the historical tour of Broward County. I'm starting at the African American Research Library, right there on Sistrunk. Taking all that into account from Pompano to down to Hollywood and the
Dania,
historical
Hollandale,
areas.
yes.
Dania, Hollandale, Liberia. I you know what? I just learned about the rich history. And so there are, you got family reunions coming in town, you got conventions coming in town. So we want to make sure that they're aware of what it is to do. Because I'm from Ohio, and every weekend I've got people in town. Hey, where can I get some good Caribbean food? Where can I go get this? Where can I get that snapper? Where can I go to, hear some live Caribbean music? Where can I go get, get this and that? So having that directory available to be able to share with everyone, so that what we're working to do is that, the county has a new travel, they have a new website that they put up in terms of through, remember it was Hello Sunny and all that.
Yes.
And so we're working to get a presence on that site so that when folks come in, they look at, that's the first thing they're going to do is Google Fort Lauderdale, what to do. And also working with the airport and getting some notices up on that kiosk, on those boards about what to do when you hit town and you're in the airport waiting on your luggage, to be able to advertise, where to go and what to do. And so those are the types of things. And, Fort Lauderdale Airport is, I think, what is the 6th or 7th busiest airport in the world? I mean, in the United States.
For international travel, it's up there. Hartford in Atlanta has the busiest one, but we're up there. I think we're a little bit further down than 5th, but in terms of international travel, we are one of the busiest in the country.
Absolutely. And within a 50, 60 mile radius, you've got 3 ports.
3 airports also
coming in that. Exactly. And the central place is right here in Broward County.
We are the center of it all. 6 million people.
Exactly. So we want to make sure that as you come into town this holiday season, whether it be for the Orange Bowl, whether it be for New Year's Eve, we want to make sure that you patronize the businesses, all the businesses of color, particularly on the west side, because there's a lot of traffic that needs to come out that way. And I think, like you said, a lot of people are more focused on the beach. But if you go, west of 95, off of Sunrise, whether off of Broward Boulevard, or Oakland Park, Lauderhill,
Miramar,
exactly.
Plantation.
Rich history and plantation. There's a rich culture out there that we need that folks need to know about. So when they do come and they go back, they can tell, hey, I was over there in Miramar. Hey, have you heard about this? Have you heard of Lalo's? And different places like that. So,
Boys Road is Donna, Jerk Machine. There's so many.
Yeah, all that. Yep.
Charlie's Pastry. I mean, there's a lot of places out there.
Absolutely. And so we want to make sure that awareness is there and that folks know about. So it's my job as a chairman on that committee to make sure that we get that awareness and we get that out and we publicize it out as best as we can through all the major channels. So maybe we really to take out an ad on the radio station.
you should.
Sure and making sure that the radio station is aware that when folks hit, where can I tune into?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
So yes, what's going on?
So I know Carl Seafood. There's so many different places. If I start I know some folks and say, how come you didn't call my place Dale? Well, listen, it would take the whole show to do that. So We just gave a
Yeah, I know
sampling.
Carl. I know Carl. He will. Carl will check you in there. You know, he's got some good.
So, and he's a big fan and supporter. So I want to make sure. And there's so many others. Hey, listen, don't let me start, all right? Because I'm gonna get in trouble if I start calling any more places. So many of you
But
out
you know,
there.
it's a rich culture. You know that we have mixture of cultures, and we just need to make sure that there people are aware when they hit town of where to go and what to do.
But you know, this directory could also help the local folks find places too. So it is really vital, and it's something that started whilst I was in office. It expanded. I'm glad to see that you are there to continue to build on that, because it's critical that we do this. Now, we've got probably about 15 minutes left in our program, and I want to make sure that folks get to know a little bit more about you. And what you're doing now. You're being a serial entrepreneur who's got a lot of experience out there doing good work, not only looking to make money, but you're looking to be a public servant and serve the community, follow in the footsteps of your mother who served in office. And that's what it is about. It's about how we give back and give unselfishly to our fellow human beings to make life better. So you started your own business
Absolutely.
now in finance, primarily focusing on finance and development. Your company actually picks up from where you left off at the Urban League. It's called Business Briefings LLC, and don't think that business briefings just means you talk about it. You're actually doing stuff to help businesses. So tell us a little bit more about your company now. What does the company do? What are you engaging with that? And I know you have other enterprises, but let's talk about business briefings for a moment.
Thanks, Adele. Well, first of all, we are located in the heart of Fort Lauderdale, right there in the Midtown building at 1033 Northwest 6th Street. And basically what we do is we advocate for businesses. We work with small business. We brief them on the trends. We help them understand their financials. We provide coaching. We help them with the business plans. And we help them, once they do, we help them to get access to capital. Also, too, networking with CPAs, bookkeepers, attorneys, to be a referral source of where the resources are. There's certain businesses out there that are looking for patents. You know, we know how to access that. I've got a connection with a partnership with Legal Aid to provide some free legal services to some businesses that qualify, to be able to help them get, you know, if there's anything that they need to do in terms of looking at commercial leases, being able, you know what you're getting into before you sign that commercial lease, you know, and helping to advocate that, because you and I know, once attorney told us that it's the difference between an issue and a problem is that issue we can solve up front. The problem is after you sign that contract. And so we want to be able to help you deal with the issues up front and advocate for you, so that we want to see your business thrive and grow to the point that you're hiring folks, you're thriving in the community, and you're also be able to, once you get to that level, it's about giving back as well. So it's all about the advancement of small business to grow and elevate to the next level. And, you know, those first 3 to 5 years is very critical. And so we know that. So we want to make sure that, you know, as they grow, that they can come out of that cycle and do the upswing and get their capital up. So it's all about the revenue, making sure that, you know, understand their cash flow, understanding the revenue, understanding the trends that are going in business, and know when to pivot. And also, too, at the end of the day, what's the exit strategy? We've got one business, Jamaica business called Grocery List, and they've just won a competition through the Lauderhill CRA, and they've got about a $10 million valuation. And these guys have no debt. And that's a program where, you know, if you want to order groceries and send back to Jamaica, you can do that. And they've got connection with all the local grocery stores and retail. Yes, and I'm telling you, that company, it's going to rise out of here, Fort Lauderdale.
It is.
And
taking off in a huge way. I remember when he started and struggling to get his feet on the ground, and now he's blown up, as the young people would say. He's
Exactly.
Imagwan. Yes, a big,
Yes. So
large.
I've been advising him. I've been advising him and his team. They just finished the Techstars, and so looking for that next tech company, looking for that next rising company, and of course the mom and pop shops. You know, your restaurants, your stores, your retail areas, even the folks over in the swap shop.
Mm-hmm.
You know, helping them get to the next level because you can't stay in the swap shop forever.
Yes.
So we, you know, what is it you want to do? What's your strategy for growth? Helping them map that out and putting all the resources around them, from attorneys to legal to capital, to understanding labor laws and all that thing. And also as it relates to liability insurance and understanding that, you know, team partner insurance, because if you've got a partner and something happens, you know, putting that structure together, you need to make sure that you're on solid. It's about the foundation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Helping the business build a solid foundation so that they can grow. Because it's just like when you build that big structure on the beach,
Mm-hmm.
you got to go down.
Mm-hmm.
You got to go down so when the wind and sand and sea comes, it doesn't blow away.
So, you know, my belief is whilst we're living in this capitalist world, entrepreneurship is the key to wealth building and wealth creation and legacy. So starting a business, and I go back to Amway, one of the things that they taught us was, you know, if you have a business, you can write off this, you can write off that, your travel, your meetings, you know, there's so much that you can then put in the mix, your mileage on your car. If you have a small business, there's a lot of advantage to that that's built into the tax code of this country for you to be able to take advantage of, and also certainly create the opportunity for you to hire yourself, hire your family, hire your friends. And part of why I think we have such high unemployment and poverty within the Black communities, we don't own as much business as many of the other communities. If you look at the businesses, the communities that have a large amount of entrepreneurship and business, the Asian community, the Jewish community, you find that they have greater wealth, but not only that, they have money to send their kids to the private schools and get the best education for them. So educational attainment is enhanced there. Longevity of life is enhanced because they have the money. There's so much advantage to basically within this capitalist society to be able to have a business that you can grow. Most billionaires are not created because they work the job. They're created because they're in business or they're in real estate development, but and that's still business also. So let me give you a chance now to give your information out as to how people may reach you, and then we're going to come back and talk a little bit more about access to capital and some of the actual monies that you have available. So give us your email address, your physical address, your website and phone number, so that folks are able to reach you should they want to.
Absolutely. So the website is businessbriefings.net. And of course, the email is info@businessbriefings.net. Phone number is 305-707-1131. And I'm over at the in the Midtown building right on 6th Street at 1033 Northwest 6th Street, Suite 201B. So right in the heart, right down the street from Smitty's.
Yeah, so I want you to repeat that slowly. And when you give the address, repeat it. And then everything that you give, you repeat it the second time, because if folks are writing, sometimes you go a little bit too fast. So slowly give us the contact information again.
Absolutely. So the website is businessbriefings.net. That's businessbriefings.net. Mm-hmm. And the email address is info@businessbriefings.net. info@businessbriefings.net. And we are at 1033 Northwest 6th Street, Fort Lauderdale, 33311. Again, that's 1033 Northwest 6th Street, Suite 201, B as in boy, Fort Lauderdale, 33311. I can be reached. The office number is 305-707-1131. Again, that's 3. I'm sorry?
Go ahead with phone number.
Again, that number is 305-707-1131. And I just want to say, Dale, that it was through your economic council when you were with the county that really spawned, and I still foster relationships from that council that we still work together. So, I credit you for, that being a catalyst. And I do really miss, because we haven't had anything like that since you left.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. But we talked about access to capital. I know that, as you say, that there's some funding that I actually pushed to put in place for the unincorporated area in Broward County for facade improvement, for acquisition of property for demolition, to clean up and make that area on Broward and 27th Avenue and on Sunrise Boulevard, just within that unincorporated area in Broward County. And the money's going out more so now that you're doing it than it was before. I know a bunch of folks have gotten some grants and some other things. So talk first about, if you are looking to put a business in that area, what kind of money you have available, how's that accessed?
Great. So I partnered with, contract with an agency that has a contract with the county, that is Grow America Fund, formerly NDC, National Development Council. And we have a loan fund in the unincorporated area. It's called the BMSD, the Broward Municipal Service District.
Right.
You can look that up you can Google that. You see the map. So we have up to $50,000 to fund a small business, a new business in that area. If you're in that area, or if you're looking to grow in that area and establish, we can give you up to $50,000 in a small business loan. And of course, any established businesses, it's up to maximum of $150,000. But the great thing about it is, it's a 6-year term loan at 3%. And there's no collateral required. It's a personal guarantee. So, I know what the rates are now. The prime is like, what, 7.5%, 7 3/4 or something like that.
And that's if you have good credit.
That's if you have good credit. And so we can go down to about, in terms of credit score of a small business, the owner's going to be guaranteeing it. We can go down as low as, I've seen a 580, and I've also seen about 620. But a 580, we understand it. Look, small businesses, you guys are, putting your personal credit on the line. You're financing your own business, and you have ups and downs until you can get your accounts receivable. So we understand that. We take that into account. All we want to know is can the business cash flow to repay the loan?
So that's one part of it. But you also have access to other funding from different sources also. So This is just one piece of it. We've got about a minute and a half left in the program. I'm going to ask you again to give out your information, because I think the service you provide is very valuable, and hopefully anyone out there who is thinking of doing some business, or who is in business already, can reach out to you, and you can they can use you as a consultant to help grow and develop their business. So if you would, please give us the information again, the contact information.
Absolutely. And I'll let you know, I've got 44 other capital resources right here in the state of Florida that we source the capital from to be able to get you to. So again, it's Brian Cunningham. I'm with Business Briefings, LLC. The website is businessbriefings.net. That's businessbriefings.net. Email is info@businessbriefings.net. Number is 305-707-1131. And thanks a lot, Dale, for the opportunity to be on this platform.
It's a pleasure, my friend. It's about the money, and we got to really pay attention to it. I wish everyone that's listening a happy holiday season, Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, and best of the new year. We'll see you tomorrow anyhow. But if you don't hear me then, God bless you all. And thank you for being here with us, Brian.
Thank you for the opportunity.
On behalf of all of us, I want to say Merry Christmas to all our listeners and viewers in the Make We Talk program. See you all tomorrow or after Christmas.
WZOP 92.7.